brisket prep and pork butt prep, okay? The prep is pretty simple. Everything else after that is really simple to be successful every time, but it all comes together to build one base, one profile, okay? It's easy stuff. It's all about time and temperature. The pork butt is probably the simplest to prep. So we'll do that, and by 6:30, by 6:15 or 6:30, Chris or Dave's going to tell me what time it is, and then we're just going to cut it off. We're going to go into finishing techniques, okay? Because it's at 6:45 we want to eat. There's a couple of people who have to leave at 7. So we'll eat about 6:45. And then after we eat, I'll probably talk at you while you're eating if you don't mind, because I got a lot of information I want to tell you. And I don't think I can get it all said in 2.5 hours. I'd like you guys to be out of here in 2.5 hours. But I'd like you to have about 5 hours worth of information. So we're really going to talk hard. A lot of what I'm going to talk about after we eat is more important than what we're doing here. But I want to get that eating thing in. I'm sure you guys will be ready to eat in an hour. That's how I say it. So let's just go ahead and start off with pork butt. Pork butt comes from the front leg of the pig. It doesn't come from the back. It doesn't come from the butt. And you got two pieces on the front of a pig. You'll have the shoulder, and the shoulder will be more of a square shape, okay? Or a rectangle. The pork butt is going to be more of a square shape, or like this. See, this has got a pretty thin fat cap. You don't want to take this off. It stays on. You cook it back side down, okay? This fat will not run through this meat, okay? Don't even think it will, because it won't. You cook it fat side down. You don't focus. You can put a little bit of rub on there, but don't focus on it. Where you're going to build your bark, your heavy bark, is going to be all 4 of these sides and this top. You cook it fat side down just like that. You're not going to trim any fat off this. All this fat that you see, and you'll see when I pull that pork butt that we have, all this fat that you see is going to spoon off, okay? And when you do pulled pork, I like to get all that fat off. Now, all meat is in layers, okay? Every piece of meat, I don't care whether it's a chicken, whether it's a brisket, it's all in layers. It's all muscle connected, tissues are connected. So you need to understand how it's put together. But basically what I'm going to do, there's a couple different ways you can add flavor to this pork butt. Number 1 is your spice, okay? We're building a flavor profile, remember. Number 1 is a spice. Mosquitoes? Yep. Number 2 is the smoke, okay? And we're going to talk about smoking lids and what's suitable to cook with and how much to cook with. Number 3, you can inject, okay? Number 4, you can mop. What else am I missing, Bob? That's about it. Okay, so we're going to get back to this. So we got the different ways to build a flavor profile. Now when you pull that pork, one of the things I like to do is when I get it all pulled, I like to add in the original rub that I use. If I use this championship rub, I like to add a little of that back in, okay? You're going to get a lot of your spice off your bark, but I'll add a little bit back in, not a tremendous amount. I'll add just a little bit, probably we got sauce here. I'll probably just add about that much sauce, so half a cup of sauce. I just color it up, okay? And so what we're going to do, we mopped Chris. Chris and Dave did all the cooking today. They did a great job. I've been to classes. I can't remember where that class was, but I've been to classes where they bought the wrong meat. They had no clue of what they were doing. They put some.
That's not the case today.
That's not the case. These guys get barbecue.
That's right.
Chris, you've cooked barbecue for quite a while.
Yep.
So if you have questions after this, Chris or Dave both understand barbecue. They can answer your questions. If they can't, they'll get a hold of me and I'll answer them. So, can you tell us a little bit about the mop that you put on the pork butts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thin mop, thick mops. It's kind of whatever you want to make it. Today's is just a simple, what I call simple mop. It's brushable. It's barbecue sauce, your favorite, brown sugar, mustard, ketchup, and apple vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and just mix it up to whatever consistency you feel best. Is it just thin? It don't have to be thick like barbecue sauce. A little bit thinner, and just you know, well, he'll tell you how long into the cook to start putting that on, but then about every hour, brush another layer on, and that gives it that nice crystallized, like shiny coating on it.
And what you got to remember is you got to think about what you're cooking on and how long it takes to get the heat back up. Because every time you open that lid, typically you're going to lose 15 minutes of cooking time. So if you have a unit that's not efficient and won't come back up in temperature really fast, mopping's probably not what you want to do.
It's good if you have a crappy smoker, is what he's really saying. If you've got a smoker that's going to dry your food out, you got to mop. On this equipment they've got out here, you don't have to. Chris likes to. It's okay. Does anybody out here do competition? Is anybody going to do competition? Okay. Because you wouldn't mop in a competition. So. If you plan on going to a competition, you want to build a park.
So what I'm going to do today with this, and you can do all this the night before, okay? You can put the rub on, you can do the injecting, you can do it the night before, you can throw it in the refrigerator. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to inject, and this is a cup of brown sugar, and this will be in a PowerPoint, so you don't have to write it down. It's a simple injection. It's a cup of brown sugar, a cup of Tender Quick, a cup of white sugar, and about a quart of water, okay? And the Tender Quick is going to give, and you're not going to see it today because the ones we're eating, we didn't inject. But you should try to inject one when you're cooking, just say you're cooking two, inject one, and then just do the dry rub on the other one, maybe do three, and then do a mop on the other one. And see how they come out different. They're all going to come out different, they're all going to taste different, but you need to experience all three of them. Yes?
I think the big thing is that, you know, for me, it's let's say you're not cooking that much food where you're doing three at a time. Just do one time, one the next time you do it a different way. I do it a different way just to find the ones I like. The ones that I like, if I'm doing a big gathering, then I certainly stick with what I know everybody likes, but I don't want to do the same food every time, so I'll do it different ways.
Right. But
Well, I think what Rob's saying in terms of this injection is the Tender Quick is going to really change the texture of the meat because you're curing it. Now it's going to look a little more like a ham. So it's going to get pink. It's going to. You can't do it in a competition. Again, if you're doing a barbecue competition, you can't do Tender Quick. It's outlawed by KCBS.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, remember I told you all the muscle is connected by fat. So I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to stick it in the fat connective tissue. And you got to have a tray because it gets all over you. It seems like most of it runs out, but a lot of it stays in.
So let me ask you, Rob.
Yes.
Why do you like to do this?
Inject? I just think it gives it a nice hammy flavor. Why did you think? Do you have a trick question for me?
No, because I know you don't eat it. So I just wondered why you always put this in the fire.
Well, there's a lot of people that like injection.
I
I haven't eaten barbecue for about 10 years.
just want to put you on the spot.
You did.
We're done.
So Bob, why don't they allow it in competition?
Well, I think the judges liked it too much, and they were winning with it. But I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think they don't allow it?
I didn't know that they
Gave
did
them a
allow it.
disadvantage. Isn't that the recipe that's banned by
No.
KCBS?
No.
Oh, you
No,
can't.
they allow injection. If you
What's
guys,
the one that's banned?
it was pork tenderloin. They quit doing pork tenderloin.